Hi, I'm Dr. Sailaja, Associate Professor, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal. Today, I'd like to introduce the course Professional Communication. In this course, we will discuss the 4 basic skills of communication skills. Let us see. So, this course, first of all, will focus on the main object of the course. So, they are the standard pronunciation, appropriate word stress, and necessary intonation patterns for effective communication towards achieving academic and professional stage targets. Appropriate grammatical structures and also using the nuance of pronunciation tools for practice. A critical aspect of speaking and reading for interpreting in-depth meaning between the sentences. A conceptual awareness on writing in terms of unity, content, coherence, and linguistic accuracy. The main objects of this course are given above. Now, I'd like to discuss about the course outcomes. After learning this course, how student will be advantageous. So, what kind of skills he will be able to receive, understand, and put into efforts. Student will be able to discuss the prime necessities of listening skills for academic and non-academic purposes. Student will be able to illustrate appropriate speaking strategies such as keeping the discussion going, turn-taking, asking for clarifications or confirmation, paraphrasing, keeping the discussion on topic, and trying to reach a consensus. Also, student will be able to choose acceptable language for developing life skills to overcome the challenges at professional platforms. Student will be able to interpret the grammatical aspects effectively in speaking and writing at functional usages. Student will be able to describe the importance of reading skills and various strategies to enhance professional growth and success. Student will be able to summarize writing skills for fulfilling the academic and non-academic requirements of various written communication functions. So before we are going to discuss about course introduction, now I'd like to explain about communication. What is communication? Communication is an essential component for social interactions and personal growth. Communication means simply sharing information from one person to another. 4 pillars of effective communications are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The professional communication course constructed on the basic of communication. It tries to develop deep into the various aspects of the communication process. Developing the LSIW skills would help one to enrich the overall quality of their lives. Professional English is crucial in today's globalized world as it acts as a primary language for interactional business communication, allowing professionals to connect with colleagues and clients from diverse backgrounds, access a wider range of information, and ultimately enhance their career opportunities by facilitating clear and effective communication across the borders. So, what will be the key points about the importance of professional English? So, where they will be used? The first one is the career advancement. So, for the particular purpose of career advancement, communication skills and English language enhancing, it will help significantly to improve the job prospects, open doors to international positions. So, this English language will shows its effects on communication purpose. So, English fluently allows for clear and concise communication with colleagues, clients, and stakeholders, which is essential for successful communication. And next, the global reach. So to reach the international trade and finance, communication is the basic required thing to have a good economical status. Also, this communication skills affects the information access. A large portion of professional information, research, and resources are available in English, providing wider access to knowledge and insights. By learning English language effectively, so there will be a building credibility. Strong English skills can project a professional image and build trust with clients and partners. So English language communication will help the people to communicate effectively on cross-cultural understandings. English acts as a bridge between different cultures, facilitating collaboration and understanding in diverse terms. Now, these are the topics as a part of professional course we are going to discuss on today. Listening skills, speaking skills, vocabulary and grammar, reading skills, writing skills. So these are the 4 important pillars for constructing a well language. So the module 1 contains introduction of communication skills, also a listening skills. So what is this communication? So how a communication will take place? What will be the process of communication? We'll discuss. Also the elements of communication. So who are the elements of communications? What they will do to convey information perfectly, effectively from one to another. Also, we'll discuss the soft skills versus hard skills. What are soft skills? What are hard skills? Also, we'll discuss the importance of soft skills for engineering students. So, what this will be the process of communication. Sender sends information, receiver receives information. So, what is this communication? Communication means transforming information from one to another is called as the communication. So this will be the communication process. The elements of communication are the sender and the receiver. So this will be the process of communication. Sender sends a message that will be called as encoding information. So the encoded information will be received by the receiver. After receiving the information, receiver will understand. So that understanding is called as decoding information. So he understands and analyzes the information. And after decoding the information, again, he will become as a receiver. When he is going to convey the information, he'll decode the message. So feedback, channel, noise, barrier. So these many various elements also will be the part of process of communication. So now we'll discuss about listening skills. So what are listening skills? So how many different stages of listening skills are there that we'll discuss in this part of listening skills chapter. So how many types of listeners are there? So barriers to listening. What are their barriers particularly which affects active listeners, not making them focused towards listening to the speaker? So effectiveness of listening. So how effectively one should improve their listening skills. So tips to improve listening skills. So what are the things we have to put into practice to overcome the barriers? So these things we will discuss in listening skills. And next, so part of speaking skills, the following things we are going to discuss in this second module. So significance of speaking skills, we'll discuss the importance of speaking skills, where we have to speak with the people, how to effectively we need to communicate with the persons, what will be the responsibilities of speaker when he is trying to convey a message in the process of communication. Essentials of speaking, the importance things. So usually what kind of barriers people they'll have, which affects the communication skills in the part of speaking. So these barriers also we'll discuss. Verbal and non-verbal communication. What is verbal communication? So through verbal communication, how a person can speak, can convey his information effectively in the process of communication. Also, what is non-verbal communication? So through non-verbal communication, also a person can communicate with others, if he can communicate with others, what will be the advantages and disadvantages? So, what kind of things can be considered as a non-verbal communication? So, conveying information through body language will be considered as a non-verbal communication. So, this verbal communication and non-verbal communication will discuss in this module of speaking skills. Also, generating tasks based on visual prompts, providing public speaking. We'll discuss what is this presentations, how to give oral presentations, how to make a public speeches, how we can attend audience, how we can make our listeners more effective when we are presenting our presentations. So tips, importance, essentials will be discussed within this particular topic. Also addressing a small group of large formal gatherings, how we can make a gathering communication, group communication, how we can make it effective manner, that we will discuss. Also oral presentations with the PowerPoint. So what are the things we have to follow when a student is going to plan to present his or her presentation? What things he has to follow, she has to follow to make their presentation more effective with the help of oral presentation, with the help of PowerPoint. So we'll enhance the students' skill, presentation skills more effectively by using this topic. The third module contains grammar and vocabulary. So for the basic 4 pillars of language, L, S, W, when they are listening effectively, when they are speaking effectively, when they are reading the content effectively, when they are writing the content effectively, how grammar is going to play a vital role in their language learning and language presentation. That will be discussed within the third chapter, grammar and vocabulary. Vocabulary has a prominent role in the language construction, sentence structure. So what kind of vocabulary have to be used? What will be the origin of vocabulary will be discussed in this particular module. So the concept of word formation, what is this word, how it has formed, how it has taken place in the sentence as a part of sentence, that will be discussed. And root words from foreign languages and their use in English language. So the root words, what kind of words have taken, derived from the other languages, how they are modified, how they are adopted into the English language, that will be discussed in this particular part. And next, acquaintance with the prefixes and suffixes from foreign language in English to from derivatives. What are the particular set of words we have adopted, we have derived, I also consider them as prefixes and suffixes from the foreign languages to English language. So what will be the derivatives? So that will be discussed. Also, along with the vocabulary words, the important 2 parts are synonyms and antonyms. So what will be the positive word? What will be the negative word? So what will be the meaning of the word? What will be the opposite of the word will be considered within this synonym and antonyms. Standard abbreviations. So there are so many abbreviations in the language. If we are unable to understand what is the abbreviation, we cannot understand the intention, the purpose have used in the sentence. So by knowing the abbreviations, we will be able to understand a speaker's intentions, what they want to convey within a short forms. So that will be called as sentence standard abbreviations. How many abbreviations are there? What will be the meaning behind using such kind of abbreviations? We'll be able to find out within this particular topic. Also, idioms and phrases. What are idioms? What are phrases? What kind of sentences will be considered as a phrase sentence? So that we'll discuss within this particular stage, particular topic. Also, grammar. Grammar plays a vital role. It has a very significance in a language constructions. Without maintaining a good grammar, a person cannot be a good language user. Everywhere he should follow a particular grammar structures in LSW, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Everywhere for best language constructions, one should understand the grammatical uses, also should follow a particular grammar to make their communication more effective. So in that part, as a part of grammar, what are the topics, what are the elements we are going to cover, that we'll discuss. The sentence structure. So what kind of sentences we have, how many different sentences we have, when we are delivering the sentences, what type they are, that will be discussed in the form of simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. Again, we have a compound complex sentences also. So what is simple sentence? What is compound sentence? What is complex sentence? What is compound complex sentence? Will be discussed to the students. At that moment, they'll be able to understand what kind of sentences must be used as a part of their communication skills. And uses of phrases and classes. So what are these phrases in a part of sentence? What are these classes? What kind of roles they'll play in the sentence structures, when they are going to be considered as a class, when they are going to be considered as a phrase. So it will be explained to the students. Through that, people will understand, students will understand and identify a particular part of a sentence, whether it is a class or a phrase. Punctuation. Punctuation matters a lot when they are going to speak and when they are going to write their communication, when they are going to convey their productive things, speaking and writing. So will be considered as productive skills. So when they are going to convey their information through speaking skills and through writing skills, so they have to maintain a proper punctuation functions. At that time only the receiver and reader will be able to understand the information within a very quick and easy manner. Next, subject, verb, and agreement. So what are the subject, verb, agreement? So how agreement should be there in between the subject and verb of a sentence will be discussed. How the function of a sentence depends upon subject and verb will be discussed. Prepositions. So what are these prepositions, where they will be used, in which conditions, how prepositions are going to change the meaning of the sentence will be discussed within this grammar topic. So also students will be able to understand what are the direct and indirect speeches. So when they are going to speak directly, what kind of structure should be maintained when they are going to convey the information within an indirect manner to the receivers. So what kind of structures, what kind of sentences they have to use according to the grammar, they must understand. Then only they will be able to convey the intentions within a proper manner. Also, students will understand degrees of comparison, what kind of sentences they are, where they will be used to explain the things, what are the things happening around them. So without knowing the degrees of comparison, students cannot explain their experiences, what they have been experiencing, what they have been facing in the societies. So that these are the elements, important elements will be explained within the third module, grammar and vocabulary. And after that, the fourth module is going to discuss about the reading skills. So which one is receptive skills? Usually this listening skills and reading skills will be considered as receptive skills. So when they are going to receive the information, analyze it, understanding, and make it utilize of it, that's why these skills will be called as receptive skills. And a part of reading skills, we are going to understand how our reading skills are going to be important to the person. It may be academic and non-academic. People can use this skill as an enhancing of self-empowerment. So what is this reading? How it will helpful? How it is useful to the person? So through this reading, it will improve our communication skills. And by reading context, it will educate person and it will keep our brain healthy. It will reduce as a person's stress and anxiety. So a reading of context, it will give a motivation and inspires. So it will stimulate our creativity skills and also it strengthens our writing skills. By reading context, we'll have so many advantages. And after that, we'll discuss what will be the importance, significance, and techniques of readings we have to follow in the reading mode. So there are 4 different of techniques, methods we have to read a content. The scanning, reading for specific information. The scanning method of reading is reading for specific information. And after that, the intensive and extensive reading or comprehension. Reading for information and transferring information from one mode to another mode. What is that mode? Text to diagram, diagram to text. After reading a content, we must be able to modify it. We must be able to transfer it from one form to another form. So what are those forms? How students will be able to modify or transform whatever the knowledge they have received from reading. So that will be discussed to the students to make their understanding skills more impressive. Next, the module 5, students are going to enhance their writing skills. These writing skills will develop their writing techniques. So effectiveness of writing, first they will understand. So how effectively they should express their ideas by putting them on the paper. And how to organize principles of paragraphs in documents, writing introduction and conclusion. How every structure is going to be designed based on IBC. I stands for introduction, B stands for body of the content, and C stands for conclusion. For every structure, it is a basic format to follow. So when they are going to convey their ideas, when they are going to consider their opinions, so they have to follow IBC structure. So how to follow their IBC structure, they'll be able to understand and they'll make their skills more effective. So again, they'll learn the techniques for writing precisely. So the different documents they'll be able to learn, understand, make it use of in the future days. Letter writing they'll learn. Formal and informal letter writings they'll write. And email writings and report writings. So these are the important documents for them to make utilize of them in the future days. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.